The purple ship appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. It was bigger than any building in New York City, floating above Manhattan like a giant metal whale. People stopped their cars on the highway to stare. Office workers pressed their faces against windows. Everyone pulled out their phones to record the impossible sight. Jack Miller was eating breakfast with his family when the news broke. His wife Lisa dropped her coffee mug and it shattered on the kitchen floor. Their 8-year-old daughter Emma looked up from her cereal bowl with wide eyes. "Daddy, what is that?" Emma asked, pointing at the TV screen. Jack didn't have an answer. Nobody did. The ship just hung there, silent and still, casting a shadow over half the city. Far across the galaxy, Commander Zach Tell of the Varxian Empire studied his screens. His purple skin gleamed under the command deck lights. For 5,000 years, the Varxian Empire had conquered worlds. They had a simple system. Find a planet, demand surrender, take control. It always worked. "These humans are primitive," Zach Tell said to his officers. "They still use chemical rockets. They haven't even colonized their own moon properly." His second-in-command, Morvan, nodded. "Should we begin the standard protocol, Commander?" "Yes. Send the surrender message. Give them 6 hours to comply." The message played on every screen on Earth. Every TV, computer, and phone showed the same thing. A tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Varxian Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. You have 6 hours to surrender. Resistance is pointless. We have conquered 10,000 worlds. Yours will be no different." Panic spread like wildfire. In Washington, the president called an emergency meeting. Military generals argued about what to do. Some wanted to fight. Others said it was hopeless. "Sir, our weapons can't even scratch their ship," General Frank Davis reported. "We've launched 20 missiles. They all bounced off some kind of energy shield." The president looked tired. "What about our allies? What about the UN? Everyone's in the same boat, sir. No one knows what to do." In New York, Jack Miller tried to stay calm for his family. He boarded up their apartment windows while Lisa packed emergency supplies. Emma clutched her teddy bear and watched her parents. "Work, are we going to be okay?" Emma asked. Jack knelt beside his daughter. "We'll be fine, sweetheart. Humans are tougher than those aliens think." But deep down he wasn't sure. The alien ship hadn't moved, but smaller craft were starting to emerge from its belly. They spread across the sky like metal insects. On the Varxian command ship, Zach Tell watched Earth's pathetic attempts at defense. Fighter jets buzzed around his ships like annoying flies. Their missiles and bullets did nothing. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. "Disable their communication networks." In seconds, cell phones went dead across the planet. Internet connections failed. TV stations went dark. Earth was being cut off piece by piece. But in a place the Varxians couldn't see, something else was happening. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, alarms screamed in a secret facility. Dr. Peter Ross ran down sterile white corridors, his lab coat flapping behind him. He burst into the main control room where 20 scientists worked at glowing consoles. "Status report," he shouted. A young scientist named Katie Clark looked up. "The aliens are jamming our surface communications, but our underground systems are still working." "What about the detection grid?" "Still active. They haven't found us." Dr. Ross nodded. For 20 years, a select group of humans had been preparing for this day, not because they knew aliens would come, but because they knew Earth needed a last line of defense. They called it Project Colossus. "Begin startup sequence," Dr. Ross ordered. "It's time to wake up Atlas." The scientists moved with practiced efficiency. Deep beneath their feet, in a cavern large enough to hold a sports stadium, massive machines began to hum. Power readings climbed steadily. Above ground, the invasion continued. Varxian dropships landed in major cities around the world. Alien soldiers marched out, their advanced weapons easily defeating Earth's military forces. In London, Paris, Tokyo, and Moscow, the story was the same. Human weapons were useless against Varxian technology. Jack Miller watched from his apartment window as alien troops moved through Times Square. They were tall, wearing silver armor that seemed to bend light around it. People ran screaming in all directions. "Get away from the window," Lisa whispered, pulling him back. They huddled together in their living room, listening to the chaos outside. Sirens wailed. Glass shattered. Alien weapons made strange humming sounds. Commander Zachtel was pleased. Everything was going according to plan. Earth's resistance was crumbling. 3 hours remaining, Morvan reported. "Should we prepare the control collars?" "Yes. Begin manufacturing. We'll need several billion for this population." The Varxians had done this so many times it was routine. Conquer the planet. Collar the population. Add another world to the empire. Simple. But Earth wasn't going to be simple. In Nevada, Dr. Ross watched as the power levels reached critical mass. The entire facility shook as ancient machinery came to life. On the main screen, a giant humanoid shape began to appear in the sensor data. "Neural link established," Katie Clark announced. "Pilot integration at 90%. In a sealed chamber, Captain Amy Johnson lay in a specialized pod. Cables connected her brain to the most advanced machine humanity had ever built. She felt the connection growing stronger, like a second body awakening. "How do you feel, Captain?" Dr. Ross asked through the intercom. "Ready," Amy replied. "Ready to show these aliens what humans can do." The facility shook again, harder this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. Warning lights flashed. "Atlas is responding," a technician shouted. "All systems green." 300 feet below them, in a reinforced chamber, 2 massive eyes began to glow. Joints that hadn't moved in years started to flex. The monster of steel was waking up. Commander Zachtel was reviewing conquest protocols when his sensors screamed. "Commander, massive energy signature detected. Location, North American continent, underground." Zachtel frowned. "Underground? Show me." The screen displayed a topographical map. Deep beneath the desert, something was generating more power than a small star. "That's impossible," Morvan said. "Our scans showed nothing there. Send a strike team. Destroy whatever it is." But it was too late. The Nevada desert exploded upward. Millions of tons of sand and rock flew into the air as something enormous broke through the surface. Alien sensors went crazy trying to measure what they were seeing. Atlas stood up. 300 feet tall, the Titan was a masterpiece of human engineering. Its body was made from a special alloy that could withstand nuclear blasts. Quantum reactors in its chest provided unlimited power. Its eyes, glowing bright blue, turned toward the alien fleet. Inside the control pod, Amy Johnson felt the Titan's power flowing through her. She was Atlas now. Every movement, every system responded to her thoughts. "Atlas online," she reported. "Moving to intercept." The Titan took its first step, and the ground shook for miles. Its second step left a crater. By the third step, it was moving faster than should have been possible for something so large. Commander Zachtel watched in disbelief as the giant metal warrior approached. "What is that thing?" "Unknown, Commander. Our databases have no record of such technology on Earth. All ships, open fire, destroy it." The desert lit up as dozens of alien weapons fired at once. Beams of energy that could melt mountains struck. Atlas head on. The Titan didn't even slow down. "Impossible," Zachtel shouted. "Increase firepower." But Atlas kept coming. Its armor absorbed the energy attacks, converting them into more power for its systems. In the control room, Dr. Ross watched the readings with satisfaction. "It's working," he said. "Every hit makes Atlas stronger." Captain Amy Johnson felt the alien weapons like gentle rain on her metal skin. She raised one massive arm, and a weapon emerged from Atlas's forearm, a plasma cannon powered by a miniature star. The first shot vaporized 3 alien fighters. The second punched a hole through a destroyer's shields. The third made Commander Zachtel realize something terrible. Earth wasn't like the other worlds they had conquered. Earth had monsters of steel, and they were angry. Atlas moved like a force of nature. Each step sent shockwaves through the desert. Sand turned to glass under its feet from the heat. The Titan raised both arms, and twin plasma cannons emerged from its forearms. Blue fire lit up the sky. "Commander," Zactel gripped his command chair as his ship shook from Atlas's attack. Half his fighter squadron vanished in seconds. Ships that had survived 1,000 battles fell like leaves. Shields at 40%, Morvan shouted. "How is this possible?" Zactel demanded. "Earth doesn't have this technology." But Earth did, and Atlas was just getting started. In the underground control room, Dr. Peter Ross watched the battle data stream across his screens. Every reading exceeded their wildest predictions. Atlas was performing at 200% capacity. "Neural sync holding steady," Katie Clark reported. "Captain Johnson is fully integrated." Inside her control pod, Amy Johnson felt like a god. The Titan's sensors were her eyes. Its weapons were her hands. She could see everything, every alien ship, every energy signature, every threat. "Multiple targets approaching from the east," she said. "Engaging." Atlas spun with impossible grace for something so large. Its right arm transformed, metal plates sliding and reshaping. A massive energy blade extended, crackling with power. Amy swung the blade in a perfect arc. 3 Varxian destroyers split in half. Their reactors exploded in purple flames. Around the world, people stopped running to stare at their screens. Someone was broadcasting the battle live. They watched Atlas tear through alien ships like they were made of paper. In New York, Jack Miller held his family close. For the first time since the aliens arrived, he felt hope. "Look, Emma," he said. "Humans are fighting back." Emma watched with wide eyes as Atlas grabbed an alien cruiser and threw it into space. "Is that our robot, Daddy?" "Yes, sweetheart. That's our protector." Commander Zactel ordered a full retreat from the Nevada sector. His ships pulled back, regrouping in orbit. He needed time to think, to plan. This wasn't in any of their conquest manuals. "Analysis complete, Commander," his science officer reported. "The human machine appears to use adaptive technology. Our weapons make it stronger." "Then we don't use energy weapons. Deploy the gravity bombs." The Varxian fleet launched their most devastating weapons. Gravity bombs could crush a moon into dust. Surely they would destroy this metal giant. Amy saw them coming. Her enhanced senses tracked 12 bombs falling toward her. In the control room, alarms screamed. "Gravity weapons detected," Katie shouted. "Impact in 30 seconds." Dr. Ross grabbed the microphone. "Amy, you need to—" "I see them," Amy replied calmly. Atlas looked up. Its chest panels opened, revealing a core of swirling energy. The quantum reactors pulsed brighter than the sun. Amy focused, feeling the Titan's true power awakening. The gravity bombs hit. Space itself twisted and bent. The desert floor cracked and buckled. Mountains in the distance crumbled to dust, but Atlas stood firm. The Titan had created its own gravity field, a bubble of stable spacetime. The bomb's effects slid off like water. "Impossible," Zactel whispered. Atlas raised one hand toward the sky. Energy gathered around its palm, growing brighter and brighter. Amy targeted the main Varxian fleet. The beam that fired was visible from space. It punched through Earth's atmosphere and struck Zactel's command ship. Shields designed to withstand supernovas flickered and failed. "Hull breach on decks 5 through 15, Morvan reported. "We've lost half our weapons." Zactel made a decision that would haunt him forever. "Call for reinforcements. Send message to the Imperial Corps. We need the entire 7th Fleet." While the Varxians regrouped, something else was happening on Earth. Atlas wasn't alone. In hidden bunkers around the world, more Titans were awakening. In the Swiss Alps, a facility opened its massive doors. In the Amazon rainforest, the jungle floor split apart. Under the Arctic ice, ancient machinery hummed to life. Dr. Ross received confirmation signals from each site. "Thor is online in Switzerland," a technician reported. "Hercules responding from Brazil. Kronos awakening in the Arctic." "What about the others?" Ross asked. "Ares is powering up in Australia. Zeus is having synchronization issues in Japan. 5 more Titans. 5 more pilots." Humanity's true defense force was awakening. Captain Amy Johnson felt her brothers and sisters coming online. Through the quantum network, she sensed their presence. Thor's pilot, Tom Baker, was a former astronaut. Susan Wright in Hercules had been a race car driver. Mike Johnson in Kronos was her own brother, a submarine commander. "Welcome to the fight," Amy said through the neural link. "About time," Mike replied. "Save some aliens for the rest of us." The Titans began moving toward each other. Thor emerged from the mountains, its hammer-shaped fists crackling with lightning. Hercules rose from the jungle, vines and trees falling from its bronze-colored armor. Kronos broke through the ice shelf, steam rising from its superheated body. "Commander," Sactel watched in growing horror as his sensors detected more Titans. His worst fears were confirmed when his communications officer spoke. "Commander, we're intercepting human military transmissions. They're coordinating with the Titans." It was true. General Frank Davis had established contact with Dr. Ross. Earth's military forces were regrouping, using the Titans as shields and support. "These machines," Sactel said slowly. "How many are there?" "Current count is 6, Commander, but there may be more. In Tokyo, the final Titan faced problems. Zeus, the largest of them all, wouldn't respond properly to its pilot. The synchronization rate stayed below 50%. The pilot, a young woman named Mary Chen, struggled in her pod. "Something's wrong," she reported. "Zeus is fighting me." Dr. Ross checked the readings from Nevada. "Mary, relax. Don't force the connection. Let Zeus accept you." Mary took a deep breath and cleared her mind. Slowly, carefully, she reached out to the Titan's consciousness. Zeus was different from the others. Older, more powerful, more dangerous. The synchronization rate began to climb. 60%, 70, 80. In the underground hangar, Zeus's eyes flickered to life. The Titan stood 400 feet tall, larger than even Atlas. Its armor was black as night with golden trim that pulsed with energy. "Zeus online," Mary reported, moving to join the others. 6 Titans now stood ready. They formed a line across the American Midwest, facing the alien fleet. Each Titan was unique, designed for different combat roles. Together, they were unstoppable. Amy Johnson felt the full network activate. 6 minds linked through quantum entanglement. 6 Titans sharing power and data. She smiled inside her pod. "All units, this is Atlas. Form up. It's time to take back our sky." The Titans moved as one. They leaped into the air, anti-gravity systems activating. Humans around the world watched, in awe as the giant warriors rose toward the alien fleet. Commander Sactel ordered all weapons to fire. Thousands of energy beams lit up the sky. Missiles, plasma cannons, particle weapons, everything the Varxian Empire had. The Titans flew through the barrage like it was rain. Their linked systems created a combined shield that nothing could penetrate. Thor spun its hammer, creating an electromagnetic storm. Hercules grabbed alien fighters and crushed them with bare hands. Kronos froze enemy ships solid with its cryo-weapons. Zeus moved like dark lightning. Mary Chen had found her sync with the Titan. Every movement was perfect, every attack precise. Zeus's twin blades cut through Varxian destroyers like they were made of butter. In the middle of the formation, Atlas and Amy Johnson coordinated the assault. She marked targets, directed attacks, and kept the team working as one. Ares, take the left flank. Tom, hit them with everything Thor's got. The battle turned into a massacre. The Varxian 7th Fleet, pride of the Empire, was being torn apart by 6 humans in giant robots. Sactel watched his tactical display with growing despair. Red markers disappeared by the dozens. His fleet was dying. "Commander," Morvan said quietly, "we should retreat, warn the Empire. These humans, they're not like the others." Sactel nodded slowly. He gave the order he never thought he'd give. "All ships, emergency jump. Retreat to Imperial Core." The surviving Varxian ships activated their jump drives. One by one, they vanished into hyperspace. In minutes, Earth's sky was clear except for debris and the 6 Titans. Amy Johnson looked at the empty space where the alien fleet had been. "They're running." "Let them run," Mike said from Kronos. "They'll think twice before coming back." But in her heart, Amy knew this was just the beginning. The Varxian Empire wouldn't give up easily. They would return with more ships, more weapons. Dr. Ross seemed to read her thoughts. Excellent work, all pilots. Return to base for debrief. We need to prepare for round 2. The Titans began their descent back to Earth. Below them, humans cheered and cried with relief. They had survived the first encounter. But the war was far from over. 3 days passed before the Varxians returned, but this time they brought everything. The sky turned dark at noon. 50,000 ships blocked out the sun. They filled the space between Earth and the moon, a metal cloud of death and destruction. Commander Zaktel had been demoted. In his place stood War Master Krentok, supreme commander of all Varxian forces. He was older, harder, and had never lost a battle in 800 years. So these are the famous human titans, Krentok said, studying the battle recordings. Impressive. But we have faced giant war machines before. Deploy the siege platforms. Massive structures descended from the fleet. Each platform was the size of a city, bristling with weapons that could crack continents. They positioned themselves around Earth like a cage. In the underground command center, Dr. Peter Ross watched the alien deployment with growing concern. They're not making the same mistake twice, he said. General Frank Davis stood beside him, studying the tactical display. Can our Titans handle this? We're about to find out. The 6 Titans stood ready in their launch positions around the globe. Atlas waited in Nevada, her pilot Amy Johnson running final checks. Zeus stood in Japan, Mary Chen feeling the Titans' eagerness for battle. The others were spread across continents, ready to defend their sectors. All pilots, this is Atlas, Amy said through the neural link. They're trying to box us in. Don't let them complete their formation. Copy that, Tom Baker replied from Thor. Moving to intercept northern platforms, the Titans launched together, rocketing toward the siege platforms. This time, the Varxians were ready. Specialized weapons fired gravity nets trying to trap the Earth defenders. Mike Johnson pushed Kronos to its limits, dodging between energy beams. His Titan's ice weapons froze 2 platforms solid, but more kept coming. There's too many, Susan Wright shouted from Hercules. Her Titan grappled with enemy fighters while massive cannons targeted her from above. War Master Krentok watched the battle with satisfaction. Good. Keep them busy. Begin Phase 2. Drop pods fell like rain across Earth's major cities. Each pod carried 50 Varxian soldiers in advanced battle armor. They weren't trying to occupy Earth anymore. They were trying to destroy it. In New York, Jack Miller watched alien troops march down Fifth Avenue. Their weapons turned buildings to dust. People ran screaming in all directions. We need to get underground, Lisa said, grabbing Emma's hand. They joined thousands of others heading for the subway tunnels. Behind them, the city burned. Amy Johnson saw the drop pods on her sensors. They're attacking the cities. We need to. A massive energy beam struck Atlas in the chest. The Titan stumbled backward, alarms screaming in the cockpit. Focus on the platforms, Dr. Ross ordered. Earth's military will handle the ground forces. But Earth's military was outmatched. Tanks bounced shells off alien armor. Fighter jets fell from the sky. Soldiers with rifles faced enemies with plasma weapons. Lieutenant Sam Cooper led his unit through the ruins of Los Angeles. Half his men were already dead. The others were running low on ammunition. Fall back to checkpoint. 7, he ordered. An alien warrior appeared from the smoke, raising its weapon. Sam thought he was dead. Then a missile struck the alien from behind. Marine helicopters swept overhead, buying them time to retreat. This is General Davis to all forces, came the radio call. New weapons are being distributed, hold your positions. Across the world, military units received strange new equipment. Weapons reverse-engineered from captured alien technology. Not as good as what the invaders had, but better than regular guns. Sam Cooper hefted an experimental plasma rifle. Now, we're talking. In space, the Titan battle reached new intensity. Thor spun its hammer, creating an electromagnetic hurricane that disabled a dozen platforms. Ares punched through enemy lines, its pilot pushing the Titan beyond safe limits. But the Varxians kept adapting. They had fought giant machines before, on other worlds. They knew the weak points. "Target the joints," Krentok commanded. "Bring them down." Specialized hunter ships swarmed Zeus. They were small, fast, and armed with molecular disruptors. Mary Chen felt sharp pain as the weapons found gaps in Zeus's armor. "Zeus is taking damage," she reported. Left arm compromised. Amy made a split-second decision. "All Titans combat link now." The 6 Titans synchronized their systems completely. Power flowed between them, sharing energy and processing power. Damage to one was distributed among all. They moved as a single entity with 6 bodies. The effect was immediate. Zeus's arm repaired itself, drawing power from the others. Thor's lightning enhanced everyone's weapons. Atlas coordinated their movements with superhuman precision. War Master Krentok had never seen anything like it. What are they doing? Unknown War Master. Their combat effectiveness just increased by 300%. The linked Titans carved through the Varxian forces. Platforms exploded. Ships fled or died. For a moment it looked like Earth might win. Then Krentok played his final card. Deploy the Planet Killer. From the core of the Varxian fleet emerged a weapon unlike anything Earth had seen. It was a massive sphere, covered in crystalline structures that bent space around them. This was the weapon that had destroyed civilizations, the weapon that had never failed. Dr. Ross saw it on his sensors and felt his blood run cold. "Dear God, what is that thing?" General Davis asked. "Death," Ross whispered. "That's the weapon that destroyed Kepler 438b. It turns planets into asteroid fields." The Planet Killer began to charge. Energy readings went off the scale. In 10 minutes, it would fire. Earth would cease to exist. Amy Johnson felt the fear in her team's minds. 6 pilots, 6 Titans against the ultimate weapon. "Ideas?" Tom Baker asked. "We hit it with everything," Amy replied. All at once, the Titans formed up for a final assault. They pushed their machines beyond all limits. Safety. Protocol shut down. Power cores redlined. This was do or die. They struck the Planet Killer together. 6 Titans firing every weapon they had. The combined energy output could have powered Earth for a century. The Planet Killer's shields held. "No effect," Mike Johnson shouted. "It's too strong." War Master Krentok smiled. "Fire when ready." The weapon reached full charge. In seconds, Earth would die. Then Dr. Ross had a desperate idea. "Amy, the quantum tunneling system." "It's not a weapon. It's a doorway." Amy understood instantly. The Titan's quantum link wasn't just for communication. It created a tunnel through space-time, and anything that went through that tunnel. "Everyone, channel all power to me," she ordered. "Trust me." The other pilots didn't hesitate. 5 Titans transferred their entire energy reserves to Atlas. Amy felt the power flowing through her, more than any single machine could handle. Atlas began to glow, brighter than the sun, brighter than a supernova. The quantum field expanded, reaching toward the Planet Killer. "What are they doing?" Krentok demanded. Too late, he understood. The humans weren't trying to destroy the Planet Killer. They were trying to move it. The quantum tunnel opened. Atlas pushed all its power into creating a doorway in space. And the Planet Killer, charging to fire, was pulled through. The weapon vanished, reappeared on the other side of the solar system, and fired its beam into empty space. The backlash hit Atlas hard. Systems overloaded. Amy felt her neural link burning out, but she held on, keeping the Titan standing. War Master Krentok stared at his screens in disbelief. His ultimate weapon, wasted on empty space. His fleet, decimated. His ground forces, being pushed back by humans with stolen technology. "War Master," his aide said quietly, "the Emperor is calling." Krentok closed his eyes. He knew what this meant. The Varxian Empire had never failed to conquer a world, until now. The Titans stood victorious but damaged. Smoke rose from their joints. Armor plates were cracked and scorched. Inside their cockpits, 6 pilots breathed heavily, exhausted but alive. Did we win? Mary Chen asked. Amy Johnson looked at the retreating Varxian fleet, looked at Earth, scarred but still spinning, looked at her team, battered but unbroken. We survived, she said. Sometimes that's enough. But in her heart, she knew this wasn't over. The Varxian Empire was vast. They had more ships, more weapons, more soldiers, and Earth had shown them something they'd never faced before. Earth had shown them humans didn't give up. The Titans began their slow journey home. Behind them, humanity started to rebuild. The battle for Earth was won. But the war for the galaxy had just begun. 6 months had passed since the second battle. Earth was healing, but slowly. Cities were being rebuilt. The dead were being mourned. And the Titans stood guard, repaired, and upgraded. But across the galaxy, something terrible was coming. Emperor Vextor himself sat on his crystal throne, studying reports of Earth's resistance. The Emperor was ancient, having ruled for 2,000 years. His 4 eyes glowed with cold fury. One backward planet, he said slowly. One primitive world has damaged our reputation across the galaxy. His advisors remained silent. They knew better than to speak when the Emperor was angry. Prepare the Grand Armada, Vextor commanded. Every ship, every weapon, every warrior. We will turn Earth to dust and scatter it across space. The Grand Armada was the Varxian Empire's greatest force. 50,000 warships, each one a city. In space, weapons that could shatter moons. Soldiers trained from birth to conquer. It had never been fully deployed before. Now it was coming for Earth. On Earth, the humans were busy. Dr. Peter Ross worked day and night in the underground facility. The Titan program was expanding. New weapons, new systems, new pilots. We've learned so much from the captured Varxian technology, Katie Clark explained to General Davis. Our Titans are now 40% more powerful than before. Will it be enough? Davis asked. Ross looked tired. We'll find out soon. Our deep space sensors show massive movement in the Varxian core systems. They're coming back. Amy Johnson stood before Atlas in the hangar. The Titan had been fully repaired, its armor now mixed with captured alien alloys. She placed her hand on its foot. Ready for round 3, big guy? Atlas's eyes flickered, as if responding to her touch. Around the world, the other pilots trained, constantly. Tom Baker pushed Thor through combat drills in the Arctic. Mary Chen meditated with Zeus, deepening their neural connection. Mike Johnson tested Kronos' new weapon systems. They all felt it. The calm before the storm. The first warning came from Mars. Human colonists there reported strange readings, ships jumping out of hyperspace, lots of them. Then Jupiter's moons went dark. All communication ceased. Finally, the Grand Armada arrived at Earth. The sky turned purple with Varxian ships. They filled space from Earth to Mars, a cloud of metal and death. At the center, a massive dreadnought carried Emperor Vextor himself. People of Earth, the Emperor's voice boomed across every frequency. You have defied the Varxian Empire. You have destroyed our ships, killed our warriors. This ends now. Surrender, and some of you may live as slaves. Resist, and your world becomes dust. In the White House Situation Room, world leaders held an emergency conference. Presidents, prime ministers, generals, all watching the tactical displays with grim faces. Can we negotiate? Someone asked. General Davis shook his head. They're past negotiation. This is extermination. The President of the United States stood. Then we fight. Alert the Titans. 6 Titans rose from their bases. But they weren't alone this time. Hidden facilities around the world opened their doors. 30 more Titans emerged, smaller than the main 6 but still deadly. Earth had been busy. New contacts, a Varxian sensor officer reported. 36 total Titan signatures. Emperor Vextor was not impressed. Numbers mean nothing. Begin bombardment. The Grand Armada opened fire. Energy beams that could vaporize cities struck Earth shields. Yes, shields. Humanity had learned from their enemies. Massive shield generators protected major population centers. The shields held, barely. All Titans, engage, Amy ordered. Formation. 7. 36 Titans launched into space. The smaller units formed a protective screen while the main 6 prepared for deep strike. This time, humanity had a plan. Thor and Ares led the charge, their electromagnetic weapons disrupting enemy targeting systems. Behind them, the new Titans fired in coordinated volleys. They had practiced this for months, but the Grand Armada was ready. Specialized Titan killer ships swarmed forward, each one designed specifically to fight giant machines. They had studied. Earth's defenders found weaknesses. The first new Titan fell, then another. The enemy weapons were too precise, too powerful. "We're losing the screen," Susan Wright reported from Hercules. "Hold position," Amy commanded. "Wait for it." In his dreadnought, Emperor Vextor watched the battle with satisfaction. The human Titans were falling. Soon, Earth would follow. "Deploy the void cannon," he ordered. A weapon emerged from the dreadnought's core, larger than a city, powered by a captured black hole. It could erase solar systems. Dr. Ross saw it on his sensors. They brought a void cannon. "If that fires, Earth disappears," General Davis finished. "What's our play?" Ross smiled grimly. "We spring the trap." Deep beneath Earth's oceans, something stirred. The real surprise humanity had prepared. They called it Leviathan, a Titan so large it had been built in sections across the ocean floor. Leviathan rose from the Pacific. Water cascaded off its mile-long form. It wasn't humanoid like the others. It was a fortress with engines, a mobile battle station that dwarfed even Zeus. Its pilot was Admiral Grace Park, former commander of Earth's naval forces. She had volunteered for this suicide mission. "Leviathan online," she reported, engaging primary target. The massive Titan accelerated toward the Emperor's dreadnought. Varxian weapons focused on this new threat, giving the other Titans breathing room. "All units execute Omega Strike," Amy ordered. The 6 primary Titans linked their systems again, but this time, they didn't share power. They created something new. Their combined quantum fields merged into a single weapon, a blade of pure energy that cut through space itself. Atlas wielded the quantum blade. With one swing, Amy cut through 100 Varxian ships. Reality split where the blade passed. Emperor Vextor watched his fleet being carved apart. Impossible. No primitive world could develop such technology. But humans weren't primitive. They were adaptive. They learned. They grew. They survived. Leviathan reached the dreadnought. Admiral Park knew she had one shot. The Ocean Titan's chest opened, revealing its own void cannon, a human version, smaller but concentrated. "For Earth," Grace whispered, and fired. The beam struck the dreadnought's void cannon just as it was charging. The interaction between the two weapons created a feedback loop. Energy that should have destroyed Earth turned back on itself. The explosion was visible from Pluto. The Emperor's dreadnought cracked in half. The void cannon imploded, taking 1,000 ships with it. But the backlash hit Leviathan too. The giant Titan began to break apart. "Grace!" Amy shouted. "Eject!" "Negative," Admiral Park replied calmly. "Someone has to hold them here." "Make it, Count Johnson." Leviathan's reactors went critical. Grace Park closed her eyes as her Titan became a new sun. The explosion vaporized 1/10 of the Grand Armada. The sacrifice turned the tide. Seeing their Emperor's ship destroyed, Varxian morale crumbled. Ships began to retreat. The disciplined Armada became a fleeing mob. "Press the attack," General Davis ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The remaining Titans pursued. Thor's lightning fried engines. Zeus cut through hulls with molecular blades. Kronos froze reactors solid. Emperor Vextor's escape pod drifted among the wreckage. His empire's greatest fleet was in ruins. His reputation was destroyed, his power was broken. "This cannot be," he muttered. "We are the Varxian Empire. We rule the galaxy." A shadow fell across his pod. Atlas floated there, weapon aimed at the Emperor. Inside the Titan, Amy Johnson spoke. "Not anymore. Earth is off limits. Tell your empire. Tell the galaxy. Humans are not slaves, we are not subjects. Come for us again, and you'll find worse than Titans waiting. She let the pod go. Let the Emperor run. His defeat would spread across the stars. The myth of Varxian invincibility was broken. The battle was over. Earth had won. But the cost was high. 7 Titans lost. Thousands of human soldiers dead. Cities in ruins. Amy looked at the stars. Out there, a wounded empire plotted revenge. Other species watched and wondered. The galaxy had changed. Earth was no longer hidden, no longer safe. But humanity had faced extinction and refused to die. They had built monsters of steel and hearts of fire, and they were ready for whatever came next. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Varxian Empire, undefeated for 5,000 years, had been broken by a single planet, a planet called Earth. On 1,000 conquered worlds, beings looked up at the stars with new hope. If humans could defeat the Empire, maybe others could too. Emperor Vextor's escape pod drifted for days before a rescue ship found him. When he finally reached the Imperial capital, he found chaos. News of the defeat had arrived first. Panic gripped the Empire's core worlds. In the Imperial Palace, Vextor faced his war council. Half the seats were empty. Admirals and generals had fled, fearing execution for the defeat. The humans must be destroyed. Vextor rasped. His voice was weak, damaged from the battle. Gather every ship. Call in all reserves. Strip the colony. Worlds of defenders. My Emperor, Admiral Zonkai said carefully, we have no reserves. The Grand Armada was everything. And the colony worlds, they're already rebelling. It was true. The moment news of Earth's victory spread, enslaved worlds rose up. Varxian garrisons found themselves outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Supply lines collapsed. The Empire was eating itself. On Earth, repairs continued. The Titans stood guard, battered but ready. Amy Johnson worked with Dr. Ross on new defense systems. They knew the war wasn't over. Multiple jump signatures detected, Katie Clark reported one morning. But they're not Varxian. Ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Strange designs, unknown configurations. Then the messages started. Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Kelthani Collective. We wish to establish diplomatic relations. This is the Zephyrian Federation. We request permission to send ambassadors. Earth defenders, the Morvac clans salute your courage. We offer alliance against our common enemy. In a single week, 17 different species made contact with Earth. All had been conquered or threatened by the Varxians. All wanted to meet the humans who had done the impossible. The United Nations building became the galaxy's busiest diplomatic center. Alien ambassadors walked its halls. Treaties were signed. Alliances formed. Amy Johnson stood with the other Titan pilots, watching a Kelthani delegation arrive. The aliens were tall, crystalline beings that chimed when they moved. Never thought. I'd see this, Tom Baker said. Change the whole galaxy, Mike added. Not bad for a bunch of humans and giant robots. But the Varxian Empire wasn't finished. Emperor Vextor, desperate to maintain power, made a terrible decision. He activated the final protocol, ancient weapons hidden in the galactic core. Planet Tauberliar, killers, star destroyers, weapons so dangerous they had been sealed away. If we cannot rule the galaxy, Vextor declared, then no one will. The first warning came from the Kelthani. Their sensors detected massive energy signatures moving through hyperspace, doomsday weapons heading for inhabited worlds. They're targeting everyone, the Kelthani ambassador explained to Earth's leaders. Your world, our worlds. Any species that defied them. The Emperor has gone mad. General Davis turned to Amy Johnson. Can our Titans stop these weapons? Amy studied the data. Not alone. These things are planet killers. We'd need... She paused, an idea forming. We'd need help. 3 days later, the largest fleet in galactic history assembled near Earth. Ships from 20 species, former enemies, united by a common threat. At its head, Earth's Titans led the charge. "Never thought I'd fly alongside Morvac raiders," Susan Wright said from Hercules. "Strange times," Amy replied. "All units, prepare for jump. We're taking the fight to them." The Allied fleet jumped to the galactic core. They found the Varxian doomsday weapons preparing to launch. Massive constructs, each one capable of destroying entire solar systems and defending them, the last of the Varxian fleet. Emperor Vextor's personal guard, fanatics who would die for their master. The battle was beyond anything seen before. Kelthani crystal ships sung weapons of pure harmony. Zephyrian fighters danced between enemy fire. Morvac berserkers rammed enemy vessels. And Earth's Titans carved through it all. Zeus moved like lightning, Mary Chen pushing the Titan to new limits. Its blades cut through Varxian dreadnoughts. Thor's hammer shattered defensive platforms. Kronos froze enemy weapons. Solid, but the doomsday weapons were activating. In minutes they would fire. Billions would die. Amy Johnson made a decision. "All Titans, quantum link now, maximum power." "Amy, that's suicide," Dr. Ross said over the comm. "The strain will destroy you all." "Maybe," Amy replied. "But it's the only way." The 6 Titans linked their systems completely. Power flowed between them like never before. Their combined quantum field expanded, reaching out to the doomsday weapons. "What are you doing?" Tom Baker asked. "Same thing we did with their planet killer," Amy said, "but bigger." The Titans created the largest quantum tunnel ever attempted, a doorway through space and time, and one by one they pushed the doomsday weapons through. The strain was incredible. Systems overloaded, armor cracked. Inside their pods, the pilots felt their neural links burning out. "Hold together," Amy shouted. "Almost there." The last weapon went through the portal. Amy targeted the farthest point she could reach, the empty void between galaxies. The weapons would drift there forever, harmless. But the effort was too much. The Titan systems failed. One by one, they went dark. "Amy!" Dr. Ross called. "Amy, respond." Silence. The Allied fleet watched in horror as Earth's Titans floated lifeless in space. Their sacrifice had saved the galaxy, but at the ultimate cost. Then a miracle. Atlas's eyes flickered, then Thor's. One by one, the Titans reactivated. Inside, 6 pilots drew shaky breaths. We're alive," Mary Chen whispered. Emergency. Systems had saved them. Backup power cores, reinforced neural buffers. Earth's engineers had prepared for everything. Emperor Vextor watched his last hope disappear into the void. His fleet was destroyed. His weapons were gone. His empire was crumbling. A single ship approached his command vessel, Atlas, scarred but functional. Amy Johnson's voice echoed through the Emperor's bridge. "It's over, Vextor. Surrender." The Emperor looked at his remaining officers. They had already laid down their weapons. With shaking hands, Vextor removed his crown. "I yield," he said quietly. The Varxian Empire ended not with a bang, but with a whisper. In the months that followed, the galaxy restructured itself. Former Varxian colonies gained independence. The Galactic Council was formed, with Earth as a founding member. Peace treaties were signed. The Titans returned to Earth as heroes, but they didn't stand down. They remained guardians, protectors of their world and others. When conflicts arose, the Titans were there. When worlds needed help, Earth answered. Amy Johnson stood on the observation deck of the new orbital defense station. Below, Earth turned slowly in space. Ships from a dozen species came and went peacefully. "Thinking deep thoughts?" Mike asked, joining her. "Just wondering what's next," Amy replied. "We changed everything, ended an empire, made friends across the galaxy, and we did it our way," Mike said. "Not through conquest, but by standing up to bullies." Dr. Ross approached them, smiling. "I have news. The Council approved our proposal. We're building more Titans, not just for Earth, but for any world that wants to defend itself." Amy nodded. It felt right. Humanity's greatest weapons becoming tools of protection for all. In schools across the galaxy, children learned a new phrase. When faced with impossible odds, when confronted by overwhelming force, they would remember. Never wake. Earth's monsters of steel. Because those monsters weren't really monsters at all. They were guardians, protectors, symbols of hope in a universe that had learned tyranny could be beaten. The Varxian Empire had confronted Earth's titans and fallen. But from that fall, a better galaxy was born. One where freedom was defended, where courage was rewarded, and where the small could stand against the mighty. And at the center of it all stood 6 pilots and their titans, ready for whatever challenge the universe might bring. Earth had taken its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as friends, not as an empire, but as neighbors. The monsters of steel stood watch, and the galaxy was safer for it.